bang out like an intro music.
Yeah, I know. It was
All right, let's kick this pig.
Yeah, that's it.
So
welcome everybody. Nobody's watching yet. It was we're on. You know what? While nobody's watching, let me give this away. And I'll explain here in a second of what's been going on with this. So let's I just got to do this live. Oh, nope, wrong one. Let's see. Present.
Keep making mistakes. Or 0.
Yep. There we go. I gotta pick a Sean Sangster.
Oh, we got one.
All right.
We got one person on. It was Sean.
One. Yeah. It was Sean. So one person watching from Facebook. So yeah, I had to pick a winner because yesterday someone cloned the Cigar Prop YouTube channel, made another YouTube channel called Cigar Prop something else, and then went on my giveaway video and told everybody that they won. So several people responded, personal. And that other fake channel goes, "Oh, hey, yeah, just all we need is your credit card so we can process the shipping."
Oh,
so
wow.
One person, a couple people reached out to me, but one person reached out and goes, "Hey, I just want to, read, because you said in the video it was free. Something's not right." And then I'm like, "What?" And then someone else messaged me, and then I had to go and delete a whole bunch of comments, block that guy from my channel, and then all day today I've been taking email because people already got the emails, from Google, on Gmail that they won, so yeah, a lot of not pissed off people. They understand that it wasn't my fault, or the channel got spoofed. So but yeah, it still sucks. So people got excited, like really excited that they won, and then I had to let them down.
That's
so
horrible.
Yeah, that absolutely sucks.
You've got to. At first, I thought it was kind of like just someone who doesn't like you and trying to fuck with people. But then when you mention about the credit card, it's like that's a whole new layer and level of fucking these people who try and hoodwink and scam people. To actually go on to YouTube to know that you have a giveaway.
Yeah. And
then try and get money from people. It's horrible.
It sucks. So for the 4 people watching, this is the Puff and Ponder podcast where conversations ignite. This is just something, a new project Kerr and I are working on. We'll be doing a few of these every now and then. And just really no format right now. We're just 2 guys talking, and that's about it. If anything we say elicits a conversation that you want to have with us or ask questions, definitely leave them in the chat panel.
Yeah.
A lot of people may know us from the I Tap That Cigar show, Cigar Prop, Trash Panda Cigars, Stogie Road Cigars. So this is just something new that we're working on. Matt, what are we enjoying tonight, Kerr?
I got 2 cigars for tonight. So I got the Robusto Magnifico of the Mandela, which is a 5x56. And then I actually have the Sanj Patel Charisma, which is a great smoke too. So those are my 2 cigars for tonight.
Right on. I am smoking. It's Matt Booth's birthday today, so
happy
birthday, Matt Booth. So
I
am smoking a vintage Siri HN. I do have a 12th anniversary Room 101 lined up next as well. Yeah, it was super exciting to be celebrating Matt's birthday halfway across the country with him. But yeah, these Siri HNs, these are I got the SA and the HNs, and they are getting dwindling down my inventory.
Yeah.
So
happy birthday, Boofy.
What's going on, Chad? So Kerr, I've been I'm struggling the last couple days. I've got a new routine, and I don't do well with new routines, but I have been doing a lot of, not a lot of research. I've been watching a lot of TikTok videos, Kerr. I'm just going to throw it out there.
That's your research.
That's my research. So
okay.
I have been looking into it on top of the TikTok just to make sure the information I'm getting is correct. Kerr, I've been maintaining my teeth the wrong way. So I have a routine. I brush, I floss, I mouthwash. That's the way I was always taught.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's wrong. You mouthwash, you floss, you brush, spit, don't rinse. So no rinsing you spit off all the toothpaste you can, and that's it. You just leave it that way. So I've been working on that this week. And yeah, man, my morning routine. I mean, just everything from putting my deodorant on, it's messed with everything. It did. Yeah. It did.
Yeah, throwing off a routine is really, especially for guys like you and me, because I have my routines as well. And it's like one little thing happens and it's like, son of a bitch, or if you got to adjust it.
Yeah, because I normally brush for 4 minutes in the morning. I have my toothbrush timer set to 4 minutes. And then that gives me enough time. I go to the bathroom, start brushing my teeth, then I come out, I start getting my lunch ready. I take my mail out if I have to. I'm very ambidextrous. I can go back and forth with either hand, and then by the time like all of that's about done, then my 4 minutes is done. And then I go do everything else, come back out. And so, yeah, it's been,
so you have to reverse that now. So what you got to do is go in, you mouthwash, you floss, and then you got to start brushing. Then you got to go out and get all your freaking shit done.
So I normally I sit down on the toilet because it's morning and I'm tired, and I usually play on my phone for a couple of minutes while I'm peeing. Now before I sit down, I put the mouthwash in, and then I pee, doing the mouthwash for like a minute or two. So that kind of kills two birds with one stone right there.
Yes.
I don't get to play on my phone as much, but I do that on the way to work now. So I'm adjusting, compensating, and yeah.
I'd also like to mention real quick that the puff and ponder topics will definitely be better than hearing about Kevin peeing on the toilet, but it is.
Yes.
But you know what? It's reality. It's like what George Costanza says: a show about nothing. What'd you do today? Well, I put mouthwash in, I sat in the toilet, and I peed. That's a show.
That's a show. And now, and I would like to occasionally bring on a guest or a friend of ours, guest per se. If there are topics that I want to, or that we want to delve into, and which we can't really cover on the I Tap That because people expect a cigar related show. It's my buddy Justin owns a tattoo shop. I was thinking, like I said, there's a lot of do's and don'ts when it comes to tattoos, a lot of myths. I'm like, oh, I'd love to have him on. I'd love to have my dentist on and talk about dental hygiene because, like I said, that's very important. Poor dental hygiene can lead to heart issues later on in life. A lot of people don't know that. So it's that'll be a very boring show. Not a lot of viewers on the dental hygiene show, but it is what it is.
You know what, though? It is. I mean, listen, as long as we're talking about stuff, it's entertaining, it's funny, it's fun, and we can still smoke cigars and talk about cigars because we can't get together and not talk about cigars. That's just not going to happen.
Well, that's it, So, yeah, it's pretty tough, and this is and I wanted to do another show because it's not that I was getting bored of the other show, but there's just we do get a little pigeonholed into what sometimes the topics do go off, but I just want to sit down with my friend and just complain about Jessica is pretty much why I wanted to start this show.
I support that 100%. I have my complaints about Jen too, so that's not a bad thing. See this, we have our show. We got the I Tap That. Then we have the bullies with our wives, where we can. It's like a horrible group therapy. It just is. And then now we have this show where we can just. it gets a little bit better.
And the benefit of this show is because Kerr and I do so much, there's no way the girls are ever going to watch this. They're never going to watch this. So we can say whatever we want, and that's it. So unless someone tags them, you know,
what are you giving out ideas for, Kev?
Yeah, yeah.
You already get me in trouble with Jessica half the time. Half the time I get myself in trouble with Jessica. The other half, it's you.
And then sometimes it's like yesterday.
Kerr agrees with me, and you never even said anything to me.
Jessica said it was last night. She, just like having like a conversation. I bet you and Kerr talk about me and Jen all the time. But like, what is going through your mind? It's like, no, I didn't want to lie, but I did. No, we don't ever talk about you girls. But the other night, we're watching the new Godzilla Kong movie. Like
the one in World War II.
World War II.
Which one are you talking about?
Godzilla Kong.
Oh, King Godzilla Kong. Okay, yeah, it's good.
Oh, yeah. So it was. I liked it. I've seen all of them. The opening scene, like they're flying their little craft through, like, and then all like the birds, like the dinosaur birds, whatever, pterosaurs are flying, and Jessica goes, "That doesn't even look real." And I go, "Well, it wasn't filmed on location, but that doesn't even look real." But they did the best they can. They did, and then I heard one, and this was, I don't know what movie it was. I was going back a year or 2 years, whatever, and someone said something about a dinosaur movie. And it's like, it's like, oh, and say, that they didn't look real, and then someone commented, well, they don't know what they look like. And then the person responded with like, well, they have museums and paintings showing what they looked like. How could they not get it right? And then I'm like, wait, what? So there's a painting of a dinosaur, and that's how they should have gotten it right. Yeah.
Oh, that that would never happen. Yeah, no, it would never happen because there are no dinosaurs.
Yeah, I can't remember the last movie. I think I texted you on the last one like a couple months ago. It was like something else she said as well. Like, well, that could never happen. Yes, yeah, that's true. This is a fantasy,
You're accurate.
But yeah.
He would never turn him. He would never freaking have a magic wand,
Yeah, I can't.
I
didn't go through the whole Harry Potter movie saying that. Well, I don't think that could happen.
Oh, come on, man! Seriously?
Yeah. Oh my god.
So, I thought you were talking about Godzilla -1.
What is that? Like I saw that, but
you have to watch that movie.
Is that a cartoon?
No, that movie is the best effing Godzilla movie I've ever seen.
Okay, because they had one that came out. It was like a cartoon anime or something. Like it was like a different, but so Godzilla -1.
The advertisement will look like that. The movie itself is Godzilla set during World War II. And I'm telling you, it is, in my opinion, the best Godzilla movie I've ever seen. It was fantastic.
Okay, so where does that fit? Is it a separate? Because these last couple have been in a timeline, so it's a completely separate.
Yes, it doesn't have to do with Mothra and the freaking Temple of Doom and all that shit. No, it's a fucking great movie. It's really good. Yeah, I like war movies. I like World War II stuff. I do like that genre, and this had a good story to it too, as well as it being, a good Godzilla movie. But the storyline to it was when it starts off with like when it starts off with a guy landing and coming back to his hometown in Japan, and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing here? You're a kamikaze pilot. What happened to you?"
Yeah. So
you talk about the whole being disgraced and stuff. I mean, it had a great story, but man, just fucking great graphics. Just everything was really good about it.
Okay. I'll have to look that one up. I thought that was like the anime cartoon one. So all right, so I'll definitely look that one up.
It's worth it. If you like Kong and Godzilla, when you watch this, you're gonna be like, son of a bitch. These are like, we watched the new Planet of the Apes movie the other night. It's terrible.
Did you?
Terrible.
But I gotta watch it.
So did I. Because all the other ones, I liked all the other ones. I always liked the new ones were really good. This one was just so boring. I fell asleep. I was like, screw this. You guys just really lost me somewhere along the line. Very disappointed.
Because it's like, isn't it like 100 years after Caesar had died in the last one?
Yeah,
something like that. Okay.
And it's just like, I don't know, man. It was not good. And I'm a sci-fi person. I just am, and fantasy and all that stuff. And we got it. We didn't rent it. It was actually available, I think, on HBO Max something. And I was watching it, and we were like 15 minutes in. I always give a movie to the 15-minute mark. At the 15-minute mark, I'm like, all right, I'm interested, but this got pick up.
Oh yeah.
This is terrible. I turn it off. Boom. Or I'm hooked. This one was okay. 15 minutes in, this better pick up. And then it was like 15 minutes later, I was sleeping.
Oh man, that sucks. Predator was a good series of movies that got better. They had a couple flops there that were pretty bad, but then they got awesome.
The special effects and everything with that. I mean, they really amped it up. I would love to see Arnold Schwarzenegger come back and do another Predator.
That would be a little cameo. Yeah, for sure.
He can't do anything wrong. That guy.
Yeah. I'd rather see him come back than Jesse Ventura come back and do a cameo.
Come on, man. Jesse Ventura is the bomb.
God, he's, I don't know. They probably clean him up, put some makeup on him.
Of course.
Clean.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Yeah. God. So, well, actually, he can't come back. He died. So yeah, he can't.
That's right. His chest blew out.
Yeah, that's right.
Him and Bill Duke, the black guy, the bald head.
Yeah.
Oh, he's another great actor too. You know what's funny in that cast? Bill Duke, I think he was the mayor of Poughkeepsie, New York. Jesse Ventura became the governor of Minnesota, and Arnold Schwarzenegger became the governor of California.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they had 3 politicians in there. A little useless fun fact.
That's it. Now useless fun fact. I didn't realize there's no N in the word conversation. And that's up on our screen.
Conversation.
Oh my God! It was it's a play on words. We meant to. Don't you get it, nerd?
We're the cover band of the I Tap That show.
That's it. So now I gotta.
Thank you.
I will. I'll make make myself a note here and then get that changed. Send that back over to my guy.
Better now than in 20 episodes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So, but yeah, thank you.
Well, Chad, we did go with the name Puffin Potter.
Yeah,
but then that's where the N went. The N went from conversation into Puffin Potter.
Oh my God! So yeah, thank you. Yeah, that is. And,
is that gonna bother you?
Yeah,
is gonna bother
you? Now. Yeah, bet your ass.
That's gonna eat it. Thanks, Chad. Could have waited to the end. Threw a little note there at the end instead of right in the middle of it. Now Kevin's gonna start talking about stuff, and he's just gonna be looking at conversation whole fucking time. Whole time. Look at me.
Oh my God.
Just block it. Just block it. Block it with put a piece of tape across your screen, Kev.
Yeah. So, Kerr, before the show, we didn't dive into it. The Fruit of the Loom thing. I think that's the first Mandela effect that we're going to prove to be true. There was a cornucopia. There was.
Yeah.
people were showing it. Now they're asking, why is Fruit of the Loom lying? Do they keep lying just to keep their name out there? You know, because if they came out and like said that we got rid of the cornucopia and whatever, you know, that would be the end of it. But it keeps coming back up. So people keep looking for Fruit of the Loom, like going to the stores and they're buying it. If that's a fantastic marketing ploy. Mm-hmm. It's just to tell people that the cornucopia was never there.
I honestly, it blows my mind because like you said, I could have sworn there was a cornucopia.
Yeah, it was. And then when they said there wasn't, I'm like, all right, maybe I'm misremembering. But and then people started coming out, finding the old T-shirts that had it on there, finding some old stickers that had it on there, and then finding like the I think the original patent is what patent or trademark that mentioned cornucopia in the trademark originally. You know, so yeah, now people are wondering what's going on. What's going on?
The one that always freaked me out that I know, I swear to God, I remember it too, was the Sinbad movie Shazam, and he played a genie.
Yeah.
And he claims he never played a genie. It's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I know. I remember that movie. But yeah, there's quite a few Mandela effects like that, you know. So, but yeah, and then a lot of people don't know where the name came from. Was originally it was Nelson Mandela.
Yeah,
people thought
he was dead.
People thought he died in jail. You know, and I'm like, well, I specifically remember him getting out and then, you know, doing the whole tour, but apparently a lot of people thought he died, and that's how, you know, really the whole thing started.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. Yeah, I'm looking through them now. It was the Fruit of the Loom, but I remember 100% that Sinbad movie, and that one always freaked me out. Always.
Yeah, I don't think anybody ever has come out and shown like a tape or anything else. So I don't know. We're still waiting on that one. I'm just going through some people swear there was Jiffy peanut butter back in the day, but we speculate they're combining with Jif. It's competitive, you know. Yeah, I could have sworn there was a Jiffy peanut butter as well. Looney Tunes, not Tunes. Tunes spelled Toons versus Tunes.
The Fruit Loops one is the one that freaked me out a little bit too, because I could have sworn that they had two O's and they were both. It was all the flavors of Fruit Loops.
Yeah. And then the Berenstain Bears versus the Berenstein Bears. You know, I actually spelled their last name with an A, the Berenstain, which I always remembered them Berenstain because I would have pronounced it Berenstein. You know, if that was talking about Mandela. Yeah. Jessica's in here. What?
How do you say it?
It's Berenstain. Stain.
How were you saying it?
That's how I always said it, but then people swore it was Stein. Berenstein.
No.
I don't know. I don't know.
I always just said it was. I just said it was the freaking Bears. I don't know.
Hi, Kerr.
Yeah.
Hey, Jess, how you doing?
Yeah. She doesn't want to be a part of it, but now she wants to be part of this goddamn conversation. Yeah. Yeah.
You did this on a whim. If I would have known, I would have made different plans. But I'm hot and sweaty. I just went to the food store.
We got to change the name to Puff, Ponder, and Eavesdrop.
Yeah, he says we got to change the name to Puff, Ponder, and Eavesdrop. She had to go. She had to go to the food store. So, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did you get Oscar Mayer with an A or with an E?
Yes, yeah, that was another one. So, now she's giving me that look because she can't understand what we're saying. You know.
And you know, right now, I'm going to say, if I said Jessica's a wonderful person, can be like, yeah, Kerr thinks that you're being nosy.
I could throw the headphones over she would have spelled conversations right, I bet. Yeah.
100%. 100%.
100%. So, Kerr, we got school. We got school started this week. You've got your son Wyatt. What grade's he going into?
10th. He's going to 10th grade. And yep. Joe's going to college.
Joe's going to college. When does he leave?
Some days I wish never, and other days not soon enough.
Yeah. So some days you wish you'd have just left him there when you did the college visit.
Exactly. Yeah. It was like some days I was like, why'd I bring you back? I would have just mailed you your shit to you. Next Thursday we leave.
Next Thursday.
Yep.
Man.
Next
he's
Thursday.
All set up. Is he staying like in a dorm?
Yep, he's got a dorm. He met some guy. It's not like when I went to college where if you went to college, you either got put with somebody, or if you went with like a friend or someone from high school, that was your roommate. So when I went to school, it was like we would get like correspondence, like mail from people like upperclassmen to say, hey, welcome to Wesley College, blah 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 blah. And I remember I got a letter from Tammy. I cannot, her last name I'm blanking on, but my name's Kerry, K-E-R. They thought I was a girl. So I got this 2-page letter, right, all about how it's great, that girls' activities, all these fun things to do. And I was like, yeah, I'm a guy. And thank you, Tammy. So when we first met,
I'd be like, oh, sweet. Thank you for giving me all the locations where the girls are going to be.
Exactly. Those insider information. But now it's like, they meet up like during orientation or whatever it was. And they're like Snapchatting everybody and Instagramming. So he met some guy who didn't have a roommate and they hit it off, and that's going to be his roommate.
Oh, right on.
Yep. So we'll see. I mean, that first year, you either really bond with someone and you stay, and they just become your best friend and you stick with them, or sometimes it's just water and oil.
That's it. So how big's like his dorm room?
I don't know the measurements, man. It's like you can put 2 beds, against the wall, 2 desks. Then they have like an open area, like they share it with like other rooms. So they have an open area with like a kitchen and stuff.
Oh, okay. So I know the now is each because I've seen somewhere like that, like the open area will have a bathroom, and then others like there's a communal bathroom down the hall.
I think they have their own. I think they have their own bathroom too. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. We had like military style when I was in school. It was straight row down, door, right in the middle was the bathroom with a big shower. Now, the one dorm I lived in had individual shower stalls, and then the other one Williams Hall, that I lived in, that was across the street, had the big open like prison shower.
Yeah.
So I think they become a little bit more respectful of of an individual's privacy.
Oh yeah, these days, could you imagine having like that? They wouldn't allow that. There's no way they could allow, the big,
no
prison bathrooms. God,
the things that were done. Oh, sweet Jesus! I can't even speak of them. It was
if they had cell phones. They had cell phones when you were in the big communal showers.
I'd still be in jail. I'd still be in jail if they had cell phones back then. I mean, it was, and then you had the ability to get a phone in your room, but it was like an arm and a leg back then. So we actually had the hallway. I'll tell you what, you want to talk about something that'll start a fight? One phone on the dorm floor.
Oh wow, yeah, especially back then, yeah. One
phone. And where I lived, it was a phone, like a wooden phone booth that you could sit in and close the door. Everybody on that floor almost got into a fight with someone else, because it was like You've been on the phone for an hour. I gotta call my girlfriend. Fuck you. I mean, it was like up in each other's faces over a phone.
Yeah, what's going on, Mike? I can only imagine, man. I can only imagine. God.
That was, and then what would happen is the one guy who would always like be on his phone with his girl for a long time, he'd hang up because they get in an argument, and then the one guy on the floor had a phone in his room, and someone would go out and he'd put big glob of Vaseline in the ear receiver, and put it up, and then they'd call the hall phone, and he'd go running over to pick up the phone to answer, and he'd get an earful of freaking Vaseline.
Oh my God.
The stupid stuff like that. It was like, we didn't eat Tide Pods. We did stuff like that.
That's it. We did normal stuff, to normal hazing rituals that would get us at best misdemeanors now,
lean a garbage can full of water against someone's door and knock.
Oh God.
Yeah, that one always went over well.
Yeah, you're giving the audience. This has been pranks with Kerr. A new segment of what you can do.
Those are the mild ones.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was. I would have thought Wyatt was. Would have been at least. I mean, maybe just because he's a giant kid. He's taller than you.
Yeah, he's
more.
He's
in 10th grade.
Does not look like he just turned 16. Yeah.
Yeah.
The size he is now is probably the size I was my sophomore year in college.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's about my height, maybe. He's about 6 foot, but he's going to be about probably 6'1", 6'2". He's solid. Then he's got my build too. That's what freaks me out when I see him. It's like, God almighty. I was like, I looked like that my sophomore year in college, and here he is, 15, 16 years old, looking like baby Huey. So you got a senior coming up, don't you?
Yeah. Wyatt started his senior year, so he's doing that. Gabby graduated last year, but she's back in high school.
No.
Or no.
She's in a program that the high school for like vocational.
Yeah, she's in a program that the high school hosts for vocational training.
Kevin's like Kevin's like the person during a like a read through line.
Yeah, I should just turn her microphone around, and I can always just.
I was correcting you because you were saying wrong information.
Yeah. So, but she gets on she does get on a bus and goes to the high school every day.
Yeah, because it's hosted through the high school.
Yeah, I know.
She's in like one of them little trailers, like it's not in the high school. It's like a program that the high school allows to have there. And unfortunately, thank God that they still can bus.
Yeah.
Because then I would just have to drive, and I would be stupid.
Yeah,
I heard the only thing I heard was that she's in a trailer at high school. That's all I heard.
That's it. So she's in a vocational training. They have a trailer at the high school.
Gotcha.
So I remember the trailers back in my middle school and high school. It's like, hey, we can't afford a classroom here. Go in this trailer that sometimes the AC doesn't work. In Florida, yeah, we had classrooms in a trailer when we had too many kids. The
only outside trailers we had were
so I guess easier in Florida than I guess you're trudging across campus to through the snow to get into a trailer. But yeah, it didn't happen often, but every now and then the AC would stop working in them trailers, and it was like a sweat box. It was not it was not fun.
I think they ended up making ours like an office for our counselor, but it was at one point an IU-13 intermediate unit trailer. So
sounds like a prison trailer.
It was for those who were educationally challenged.
Okay.
So if they're a little bit slower and needed some extra help, they would go out to the IU-13 trailer.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was what that was. And then they did away with that, and that was where our counselor's office was. So yeah, we had our little trailer too. It was like one of those you know, oversized, you know, Lowe's, you know, shacks they just dropped in there.
Yeah, like a construction trailer.
Yeah, nothing real major or big, just something a little bit smaller. Yeah.
Yeah, there are times that, you know, when I'm at work and sweating my ass off, and I'm like, you know, I miss the good old days, going to school every day, and then I don't, you know, and then I get to come home to my own house and have a cigar. You know, school was fun, but I do not miss it. I tell these kids, cherish it because Wyatt's a senior, my niece is a senior this year, and you know, it's my nephew graduated last year. He graduated 2 years ago. So
yeah.
Thank you, Jess. And then yeah, life kicks him in the, you know, working every day.
It, you know, I told Joe, I'm like, listen, man, you know, you're in a big hurry to start a business and do this, dude. I'm like, I said, you're going to go to college. You said, you're only leaving in a week. I said, that's going to go by like that. I said, you're going to go to college. That's going to go by like in 5 minutes. I said, then you're going to wake up one morning. You're going to be 40 years old and you're going to look back and go, man, I just literally blinked my eyes and 20 years passed.
Oh yeah, he's gonna blink his eyes and he's gonna be coming home for Christmas or Thanksgiving like next week. You know, before he knows it.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts, but yeah, you know, it's
very little to no responsibility. You get to, all you have to do is not fail. Like all you have to do is just get good grades. That's the only job you have, is get good grades. That's it. And then you can have the time of your life.
That's it. And I'm assuming he's going to be working or not. I'm sure not right away, but you know, he's going to have to make some.
He'll get some. They do some on campus jobs where they pay you. You know, and it goes towards your tuition. So
yeah,
he'll do that. But his first year there, at least first semester, he needs to kind of. He and Jennifer both need to like adapt to the change.
Oh yeah, Jen. What do you give her? Like 30 days? You know, the empty nest syndrome.
I got a 30, 60, 90-day plan for Jennifer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be. I think there'll be moments of like, you know, thank God, but there's gonna be more moments where it's gonna be very quiet. I mean, I'm gonna miss him too. Don't get me wrong, a lot. Joe and I have lots of really good conversations. You know, we'll share a cigar and hang out and just shoot the shit. So, but you know, as much as I'm gonna miss him, the bigger part of me wants him to just go and experience life. Just go and just don't look back.
Don't look back. Don't do drugs. Don't get a girl pregnant. It's my only two things. And then you'll miss them. You'll miss them next weekend when the grass needs to be mowed, and then you gotta do that yourself.
Not really. I mean, the last couple of times he's mowed the lawn, I had to go out and just watching the shitty job that he did. Always get and you know, so it's like
I know I was poking the bear with that one.
Yeah, I know you were. I'm not dumb.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, hey, you know, sorry. Yeah, did you miss me? Did you need some stuff done around the house? Yeah, no, I just did it myself. I want to make sure it got done right.
Yeah.
That's why I took a picture of the kitchen. I'm like, here's what happens when I'm alone.
Yeah.
Look at this. And of course, Jennifer had to chime in and go, hey, can you do the floors? No.
Yeah. I think she was serious too. I don't think she was joking.
No.
So not at all. But Chad's got one going away next year. My daughter, luckily my daughter stayed in town. We got a great college, not too far away. She was only like a half-hour drive for her, 45-minute drive. So a great nursing college that she went to. So luckily she stayed. What now, Jessica?
I didn't say anything. I just looked up.
Yeah.
I smiled. That's all I did.
Yeah.
This is a relaxing show.
Yeah, relaxing show.
I feel like the nun in my school was like, okay, you two can just play. I'm going to sit here.
Yeah.
I can't play properly, sister Jessica.
I know we can't talk about what we want to talk about. No. So
I can't play properly, just sister Jessica.
But I do follow this this one guy on a TikTok and talking about as of lately he's an accountant, but lately he's been doing a lot of the student debt. God, these kids, what they get themselves into, and they don't know any better. You can't, you give an 18-year-old kid, a contract to sign. They don't know any better. They've never had to do that before. Take out loans and sign contracts and everything else, and all they want to do is go to school. And man, these kids, and interest rates and these kids, and it just keeps going. Like they're never paying it off, never paying their debt. And it's insane.
The cost of an education is ridiculously high. When I went to school, my freshman year was the last year they did tuition freezing. So my tuition, my freshman year was the same as it was. Senior year was the same as it was for my freshman year. Everyone else had to pay higher. Yeah, everyone was subject to the cost increase. And I won't get this 100% accurate or right, but I think it's Duke University has so much money that they could stop charging tuition from now until like forever and never go broke.
Yeah, I think one of the college wasn't it an Ivy League medical college that someone just made a big donation to, and I think it was medical school, and it was like, that's it. No more tuition. If you get into the school, like you're done. And it's like an Ivy League school.
I wouldn't doubt it, but I remember reading about Duke University because that campus is beautiful. But it's like some of these colleges, these bigger colleges, like my college is small and actually ended up kind of really suffered during COVID, like a lot of smaller colleges did, and got bought up by one of the local bigger colleges. But some of these colleges that have been around for hundreds of years or 100 years or so, they're old. They got so much money in their trust fund. They don't need, they shouldn't be. I know it's a prestigious school, and it's like, if it's prestigious, we'll have some of the kids, we'll give out some scholarship stuff, but the kids that are going to come here, their parents are going to be wealthy, and we can charge them X amount of money. But I had to finance a good portion of my college education. Now, back in the Stone Age, it wasn't as crazy as it is now, but it's all relative, right? Yeah. It's all relative. And I paid my loans back, and I can tell you, when you're starting out and you have a $200 loan and a $140 loan, and the jobs that you're looking for getting out of college are starting off between $20,000 and $25,000 a year. It's all relative,
Yeah,
that's nothing to fucking shake off, But I think there needs to be a bigger emphasis on, I don't know if it's generation, but there needs to be a bigger emphasis on trade schools. I think this generation, like look at you, you're a master mechanic, and we hear a lot of the stories that you've encountered over the years. But I think that but people would say, well, that's manual labor, blah blah blah. I'll tell you, there should be a bigger emphasis and money being thrown at kids to go to trade school, because there are a lot of areas where we are lacking true craftsmen, our master mechanics, our master masons, our master plumbers, or what have you. And people don't realize that there's a fantastic living if you have the skill set and also the passion for it.
Yeah, my nephew that he got into plumbing. His dad, my great friend Brian that I grew up with, one of his best friends is a plumber, owns his own company. Peyton works for him. Peyton's goal is to own his own little plumbing company one day, and it's very easy to do. You know, when you got plumbing, electrical, you know, things like that, the trades, it's very easy to start your own company. You just need a van and some tools, you know, and that's all you need. You know,
do good work.
Yeah, great trade, and it's something that people are always going to need. You know, plumbers, electricians, welders, mechanics. So like I said, so I'm on my way out. I've only got a couple more years, and I'll be done with this trade. There's one generation behind me, you know, some younger kids that I've helped train. They're going to be the last generation of true mechanics.
Yeah,
because because when they're getting ready to retire in 25 years, there's the cars that we're driving now, they're not going to be around. There's going to be a few specialty shops that are going to be, you know, working on them. And then it's the electric cars, you know, like I said, there's not a lot that goes wrong with them. The diagnostic is going to be just when a module fails, you just know that you just swap it out, plug in a new module, ship the car, you know, on its way. Chad HVAC, tool and die, you know, tool and die makers, you know, they're you know, going to be around for a very long time. Well, I could see that, you know, the tool and die machining industry, I could see that going more automated, but that 50 years from now, you know, that's not going to be anything soon at all. You know,
no,
we'll eventually end up going to injection molding of super materials but
when the aliens show up next year,
that's it. 2025, baby, they're showing up. It's been set in stone.
Well, you're right about the mechanics. I mean, you're absolutely right. My dad is a mechanic. He grew up, you know, around mechanics. My grandfather's a mechanic, and my dad's like, you know, he's 83 now, so he's not crawling under cars anymore. But he goes, Kerry, I open up a hood, I don't even know where I freaking got. I take it to the shop. You know,
that's it. We had an old guy in today, and he had to been in his 70s. And he's got like a newer vehicle, 21 Ram 50, like it's got like driving like a $90,000 truck. You know, he comes in for an oil change, and I don't want any of that fancy oil. I just want regular conventional oil. And I'm like, no, not going to happen. Not in your vehicle.
Yeah,
you're gonna blow it up, and then you're gonna blame me. And he goes, well, I've got two of my friends that drive newer vehicles, and all they use is conventional. And I go, are they the same age as you? And he goes, well, yeah. And I go, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
I go, but I said for 90% of your lives, that's all that was conventional oil. And, and I told him, I go, that's just not a thing. We don't even carry it. It's not even in the building because nothing carries it anymore. And these old guys will, you know, and we love talking with them. They'll come out in the shop. We'll show them something that's wrong with their cars or whatever. And they're in amazement when they look underneath of a hood or they look under thetheir car, and they'll be like, I don't recognize any of these components. You know, I'm like, yeah, it's a lot.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. My dad, I mean, gosh, when I was growing up as a kid, I used to always hang out with him when he worked on cars. So, you know, I got to know a little bit, you know, enough to be dangerous, but I knew enough to be able to, you know, identify and then also, you know, have a decent conversation. And, you know, you look like an engine block from back in the day, you know, or you just look at an engine taken out of a car, like, you know, with the exhaust and the fan and everything. And then you look at the engines now, it's like, it's almost to the point now, like you said, we've gotten to a point where you could probably in the future just pull the engine out and just plug the other one right in. It'll be a socket. Just pop it in, and then just be sending you on your way.
That's it, you know. And but I'll tell you, like I said, if I had a choice of working on cars that were made between 2020 and 2024, or working on cars made in the late 90s, early 2000s, I'll take newer cars every day of the week. I did a water pump yesterday on a newer Ram 1500, and on the old Ram 1500s, it's about a 4-hour job replacing that water pump. I had this water pump in, out, and I was bleeding the cooling system in 30 minutes. And it was just simple. I mean, God, it was so easy, but then there are other components that are harder, but for the most part nowadays, God, I love working on this new stuff.
Yeah.
It's just so much easier.
I can imagine
to get part, but if you have the right tools and you do have the know-how, I mean, I've seen it coming, like I said, someone getting in the industry now, like my buddy Tom, who was in this industry 20 years ago, became a cop, got out of it. Like he couldn't come back in, like too old school mentality. Like he'd never survive, at being a mechanic now. It's just, but when you see it gradually change every single year, you just get used to the new stuff.
And the first thing you do when they're like, what's wrong with your car? This, that, the other thing. Okay, well, let me plug it in, do a diagnostic and see what's wrong with it.
Yeah, it's actually when people are having issues with their cars, even if your brakes don't on newer cars, if your brakes don't feel funny, first thing I do is I check the battery. Got to check the battery. Got to check the battery. Every single thing that should always be your first diagnostic step of any car, starting in like 2000, maybe 16 or 17. Check the battery. Check the back. 25% of the time, it's going to be the battery. It's going to be the issue.
That happened to our Bronco.
Yeah.
Jennifer came out. She came out to work. It wouldn't start. And then it finally turned over. Drove home, was riding rough. Start getting all these lights blinking on what's wrong with it. Freaking track. Then it starts saying, this is off. This is turned off and everything else. And she's just like, we called the shop and they were like, well, we're booked, we could set something up for 8 weeks, but if you bring it in, you leave it overnight, we'll take a look at it. So I finally talked to someone who was actually pretty reasonable, and they go, hold on for a second. What did you say was wrong with it? And I think her name was Sheila. And I told her, she's like, bring it in tomorrow, bring it in tonight. We'll look at it in the morning. Now this might be a battery. And she called the next day. She's like a couple hours later, like, yep, it just needed a battery. As soon as your battery starts dying or gets low, or they're like, it just sends like this freaking distress signal throughout the whole vehicle, and it just completely shuts everything down and F's everything up.
That's it, and there's a lot of vehicles now that when you replace the battery, you got to reset the computer. You got to tell the car to put a new battery into it. And then the price of batteries, God, at least once a week, I got to give someone a sticker shock. I mean, we're replacing batteries every day, but at least once a week, someone will like clutch their heart, when I tell them the battery is $400 for a new battery.
About three. Ours was 300, and I did a little bit of a.
Yeah.
I guess the days of $60 batteries are over.
Yeah, it's been about 5 years now, so we don't have a lead smelter here in the U.S. anymore. The last lead, because of EPA regulations. So we buy all of our lead overseas, and it's just junk. It's junk Chinese lead. The batteries aren't good. We're not. Nobody. I mean, there's actually a small battery company I think it's in Kentucky. It might be in Tennessee, but that still produces batteries on a small scale that uses 100% virgin lead. And the batteries, they last like 10 years. They're about $500 for a battery, but they're just exquisite batteries.
That's worth it if you're paying $300 for a battery that's going to last 2 or 3 years.
Oh yeah, it's I tell people, I
didn't know that about the lead smelters. I didn't know that that's the reason why.
Yeah, it was we get all of our lead from overseas now, and there's only a couple battery makers out there. Johnson Controls is the biggest. They make Die Hard, Everstart. I mean, Johnson Controls, Interstate is the big one that people would know. But Zoe batteries oftentimes not even making it 2 years, junk lead. Yeah, you get what's called like lead acetate on the plates. Like when iron rust, lead will rust also, and they get a coating on the batteries. And once that coating starts, just that little part of the battery that doesn't take a charge anymore, and it just they just go to shit. That's why I tell people, I said batteries are so expensive. Find out when your free replacement is on your battery, and then like take it out of the car and then put like, a bunch of load on it and kill that battery to where it can't take a charge, and then get a new one, under a warranty. Keep that shit swapped out, so you don't have to pay for a new battery.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's but yeah, the lead is, yeah. So the cells go bad because of it. Yeah, the cells just go bad because you've got a bunch of, in your typical wet battery, you've got a bunch of cells, and that charge has to go, through the battery acid all the way through the cells back and forth. And if you get too much of the rust, on there, it just can't charge. And then the cars are so hard on batteries now because when people
like they might have electronics, right?
Yeah, and a lot of them, it's when you shut your car off, it's on average about 18 minutes before your car shuts down. So you have all of these modules in your car that are still active, still pulling juice, for no less than 18 minutes. Sometimes they're a little bit more, but 18 minutes is about the time before all of your modules will power down. Then the little things, like your radio will like suck a little bit of juice, just to keep its time and everything else. But yeah, it's about 18 minutes. So if you got a battery that's getting weak, and then it's still, your car's still sucking juice for 18 minutes, after you shut it down, now when you start it up, your alternator has to work harder, because your alternator's job is not to charge the battery. Your alternator's job is to run your car. Your battery starts your car, and that's it. So now your alternator has to try and charge the battery and run your car, and it's a whole big thing.
Wow. Look at that. Tech Talk Wednesday.
Tech Talk Wednesday, Tech Tip Wednesday. So
Tech Tip Wednesday.
Yeah. And then you've got like, then you got some vehicles that have two batteries. Like we did a Dodge Caravan today, or a Chrysler Pacifica. It's got, that start stop feature. Do you have that on the Bronco when you come to a stop and your car shuts down? So a lot of times on that, you'll have like a little motorcycle battery, and that's what starts, your starter. So they have two batteries. This guy spent, I think it was like $600 for the two batteries.
That's crazy. Man.
I know.
It's amazing. I don't get it. See that we got to bring back lead smelting to America again.
Yeah, that we do. And then even little things like people don't realize, like Dodge and GM and Ford, like their oil pans are plastic now. Plastic engine oil pan. They don't even have a drain plug. It's like a quick release. Like you just put a little tool in there, you turn it a quarter, and a plastic drain plug pops out.
Wow, really?
Yeah. It's luckily, I mean, the engineering seems to be pretty good on that. It's rare to see them fail, but they do on occasion. So
have you seen the video of that guy? I can't remember his name. I think I said it. Who God, I wish I knew the guy's name. I'm come ill prepared for this, but they got a Tesla truck, and they compared it against I think it was a Chevy.
The F-150.
Yeah, F-150, a Ford F-150.
Yeah, F-150. Yeah,
I was amazed at just how. I mean, there were certain areas about the Tesla truck that was like, oh wow, it's pretty impressive, but just how he was ripping the strips off and the bumper, the wheel well covers, the toe hitch was mounted to the bumper.
Yeah,
it was like a piece of metal that wasn't part of the frame. It was welded either side, and when they went to pull the other truck out of the mud, it ripped the whole freaking hitch and bumper off.
Oh yeah, it's nuts. Chad, what kind do you have? Do you have a Wrangler, or do you have like a Cherokee? Yeah, it's but who's towing with? I mean, I know they have good towing capability, but who's really buying those to tow?
Well, it's not. It's damn well people who buy those pickup trucks. It's not to do any outside, but he was kind of funny as they were like, Elon Musk said this is it's like an armor. You have your own armored personnel carrier, and he's like, well, right now, he goes, my personnel is in big trouble. But then they actually put C4 against the doors and the trunk, and they did the same thing with the F-150, and that mangled the F-150 up pretty bad.
Yeah,
it didn't do any damage, like not significant damage, but just looking at how a vehicle that looks like that you feel that you've read about how expensive it is and how computer oriented it is crazy. How certain areas of that vehicle was done so cheaply. I was amazed at that. I mean, I would never expect to be able to walk up to a Tesla and just yank on, or they slam the door, and every time you slam the door, the inside door freaking cover pops off, gets jammed up inside, and you can't open your door then.
Yeah, it's they're definitely not super well built. Chad, you got a Wrangler 4-cylinder. So on the Wrangler, you got to take the passenger tire off, then take the wheel well liner out, and then the battery sits underneath the wheel well liner. So we hate doing those. They're a pain in the ass because on those, here's one for you, Chad. I didn't mean to say Chad like that. But
you didn't like you're getting ready to rip them.
So the fender, like the fender flares on that, they're plastic welded to the frame. So we have to drill out all of those plastic. And if you don't have a plastic rivet gun like I do, you got to put those stupid little push pins in there to remount the trim. So they don't even make it easy to change that battery. It's a pain in the ass. So yeah. So Chad, if you ever need to replace that battery, you're going to want to ask them, do you have plastic rivets to replace the rivets? Or are you just going to put them stupid little push pins in there? So my fender flare comes flying out, 1,000 miles from now and it rattles loose. But
that's crazy.
It is. In some ways, cars are getting so cheaply made, but the price keeps going up and up and up. It is absolutely insane that if you want a new if you want a new Silverado, with almost no options at all, I mean, you're $60,000, $60,000 just for, unless you want like the work truck that has zero, but you're still going to pay $48,000, for that. But yeah, 60. Then if you want all the bells and whistles, yeah, you're $80,000, for a pickup truck.
I don't know. It blows my mind on how much vehicles are, like you said, especially when you get into the pickup trucks. When you get into the pickup trucks, it's like if you find something under $50,000, like I said, it's going to be stripped. I mean, you might as well have the crank windows at that point.
Oh yeah.
But I bet you the average has got to be somewhere about $70,000.
Yeah. Without a doubt, and Kia and Hyundai's killing it right now because they have, still affordable vehicles. But what we see on that, which I've talked about on my tech tips, it's and I hate to use the term, in a derogatory way, but it's poor people buying, cheap vehicles and then they can't maintain them. It's they can't afford to change the oil on time. They can't afford to do their maintenance. They spent everything that they had, on the cheapest vehicle they could find, which is still, relatively expensive. So I tell people, I said, stay away from Kias and Hyundais on the used market because you're buying a car that has been neglected its entire life. And then we had a girl in yesterday in the waiting room crying. She was literally in tears, because she's driving like a 2023 Kia, whatever, little SUV. And then it wasn't her fault. She didn't look at the tires beforehand, that she got some model with this weird 19-inch tire that I can't get. Like I cannot get, readily available. I'm like, yeah, I can have one in 2 days and it's $380. And then she's like, she's in tears. And I'm like, and we see this all the time, it's with tires are just killing people.
That was Jen's Dodge. Remember I told the Dodge Caliper?
Yeah.
It was like, oh yeah, that year is the year they decided to go with a 15-inch trim or whatever it was. And it was like, and I got to know the guy at Firestone because right down the street from us when I first moved here. and he used to give us really good deals. And he was like, "Listen, man," he goes, "that's a tough to find tire. When we find them, they're expensive." He goes, "If it was the other model, I'd get you a tire for $80." He goes, "But you're going to be paying 150 a tire, 180. You know, no problem whatsoever, because they decided that 1 year they were going to make a crazy ass decision and switch the tire, or switch the rim."
Yeah, we had one guy, and he's driving a newer Mercedes, and it's probably a 22 or 23, and he hit a curb, and it was $700 for one tire, and he had to leave it there for like 5 days for us to get it in. We saw him in 2 weeks, hit a curb, blew out the same tire, and he didn't bitch about it. He's like, "Whatever, it is what it is." He had the money to replace it, but yeah, it's not uncommon. $300, $400, $500, $600 for a single tire.
Yep, we got tires put on the blade on the Bronco. It was salty.
Yeah,
but like you said, I mean, it's they don't seem to last as long either. I don't know if it's I know you and I talk about the quality of tires. You know, if you're going to buy a cheap tire, you can't expect it to last too long.
Yeah.
But if you're going to buy a good tire, you know, and I always talk to you whenever there's, you know, whenever we have questions about tires, because I know you know your shit and you are going to go for quality.
Well, that's it. You know, people come in all the time, and it's just, you know, and they want the cheapest thing. That they can't spend $1,000 on a set, so they want to spend $500 or $600 on a set. And I'm like, I'm gonna see you in like 2 years. I mean, this tire has no warranty on it. Yeah. You're gonna wear, and I understand money's an issue. It is. You know, I completely understand. But you know, I make those notes in the computer. You know, the other guys, you know, they don't. I'll make a note: customer declined a better tire. Customer was informed of the warranty. You know, because all the time, you know, we see it come back. Well, you didn't tell me. I didn't. I didn't. You know, the thing though the boss loves the most, you know, my current manager, my previous manager, previous service managers, whenever someone comes back and complains about something or says, "I was never told," we look up their history and they always go, Thank God, Kevin worked on it. Thank God Kevin worked on it." And they'll pull up that, or we'll go pull, because we keep hard copies of their invoices for like 5 years. And they're like, "Let me go check." You know, they'll pull it and be like, "Right here, Kevin told you this." You know, if it's one of the kids, yeah, that's it. You got CYA, man. Cover your ass. I've been doing this a long time. I know the games people play. You know, oh, if you'd have told me that about Road Hazard, I would have bought it. We offer it to everybody. It's how we make some money. You know, so yeah, tell you I didn't offer it to you. I don't think so.
I learned that one a long time ago, man. I document everything, especially when you're in medical, especially in your medical industry.
Oh yeah, like, especially yeah. You guys are killing people all the time. You know, no, it's
well, no, I don't do the killing.
No.
But no, I mean,
you're not in the killing business.
I'm not in the killing business. You have to document. I mean, because it's, you know, when you're dealing with clients, you're dealing with people, and it's like, well, you know, you never told us this. We're like, yeah. I kind of did, you know.
Yeah.
Or even internally, you know, when people are, you know, there could be just a simple misunderstanding about something, and I mean that was the other thing when I first got out of college. I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and it was, you know, exactly what you talked about. Someone comes back, big old dent in the car. Yeah, we're gonna need your insurance information. You got to pay. Well, hold on for a second here. Well, you didn't. You declined our coverage. Well, they never offered me the coverage. Yeah, we did, and you said no. You said it was a ripoff. You know, it's been documented.
Oh, exactly. You know, yeah, you don't get especially the insurance on a rental car. You know, I mean, luckily nowadays, you know, just about everybody has a credit card that covers rental car insurance. But yeah, they tried to get me on the last one out in Arizona. The windshield was damaged, and I'm like, no, it wasn't. I'm like, can you show me some kind of pictures? And then they never did. They never produced them, and they just okay, we close this claim. Like, yeah, that's what I thought.
I always like, unless I always get a little gun shy when they're like, oh yeah, your vehicle's in spot 46. I'm like, yeah, I want someone to check this out with me, because I'm not gonna go out to spot 46, and if there's something on there, I'll go back in and be like, hey man, there's a dent on the driver's side door, there's this, there's that, mark it down, because I'm not gonna have it come back and have you charge me for something or try and freaking ding me for something that I didn't do.
Oh yeah, I always go around, and then usually you go out and because they'll tell me just pick whatever, they'll tell me just pick whatever car you want. Don't make a difference what it is. Just pick anything in that row, and then they scan you on the way out to see the car. But I'll go around it, and if there's any damage, get out of that little booth. When that little girl or guy scans your car, I'm like, hey, there's a dent on the other side. Can we take a look at this? Because I said I'm not paying for this shit.
It's not like it used to be. I mean, we used to get out, but we had contracts on clipboards, and we'd have to walk around the car and inspect the car with the customer. And even even at the airport locations, you still did that. Now it's just like, here's your keys, you're in row such and such in spot blah blah blah, and you just go out and there's your car. And if I hop in, if it stinks or smells funny or has got something wrong with it, I always go back in and make sure it's noted, because I've seen too many BS things happen on there.
Yeah,
yes,
and then
changed.
And then what I keep getting fucked on is these traffic tickets. I got one in Arizona, and I got one in, I forget where else I was at, and it was just on the highways now. Just they're monitoring your speed, and it's all by camera. And I'm like, what the hell is? Luckily, we don't have that shit here in Florida. Yeah,
I would get it on the tolls. I just drive like fuck it.
Oh
yeah, it'll get to me. It'll get to me.
I always pay pay the toll thing ahead of time, and like, yeah, whatever. Then the gas, you go prepay for a tank of gas, and then it all depends on where I'm going. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, because I'm gonna return this thing empty as hell.
What a coast in.
Yeah. But yeah, last time I was out of Arizona, I had to go to a different I forget who, Dollar or Thrifty or whatever, because Avis didn't have I like Avis because I'm an Avis preferred member, but all they had were electrics, no gas cars at all. And I'm like, I don't want to be in an area I've never driven before with an electric. I don't mind driving an electric, but I don't know where I'm going, where I'll be, where the charging stations are.
Right.
Like I don't have that much hassle.
Yeah, that you better have some charging stations. You should have a charging station locator on those things. But even to your point, I would not want to get into an electric vehicle in an unknown territory and go, okay, let's see how this thing works out.
Oh yeah, and then the big thing, Enterprise charging people, not bringing their cars back on full, and they're charging them like it was on like they'd be putting gas in it. And if you don't return it on a full charge, you're getting hit with
really?
a gas charge. Well, like a gas charge.
Yeah. A charge, yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Man, I don't know. Larry's right, man. The world has changed so much. So a lot of it's good. A lot of it's like, what in the hell is going on? When are the aliens going to get here? Because I definitely want to get beamed somewhere. I don't care. Probe me. Put me on a slab. At least I'll have an excuse for some short-term disability.
Yeah, we seem to be in a transitional period of this century. Like we're trying out a lot of new stuff, and in 15 years, a lot of these kinks are going to be worked out. Things are going to be, so much smoother. I think life in general is going to be smoother, but we're just in this weird transitional period in the world, that I don't know if we've been through. I'm sure we've probably been through this same transitional period 1,000 times.
I'm sure.
But,
it's just
it's it's like we're at the start of the Industrial Revolution right now. You know, we got a lot of new things happening, a lot of new machines coming online, and, you know, 20 years, it's going to be smoother. But right now we're trying to figure this shit out.
It's not only that too, but I also think that it's a whole new, it's almost like that coupled with like the 60s when they had the hippie movement, right? You know, there's a lot of social change as much as there is an industrial change. And it is amplified with social media. And I think that is the one thing that really is, and it's all relative, like we were saying earlier. Like you said, we've gone through these changes before. It's just, everyone documents everything now. So it seems so bigger and more amplified. Not more people, but it just seems bigger and more amplified because of social media. And you have news that isn't even news anymore. I mean, 30, 40 years ago, when you turn on the news, it was the fucking news. Yeah, they reported what happened.
Yeah, Walter Cronkite did not give his opinion on what he thought. He reported what was on. And I would take the counterculture of the 60s versus what like you said, like the equivalent counterculture of today. You know, I would definitely take what was then, you know, because it was the phone. It's just everybody has a voice, and they should, but not everybody should have a voice. You know, it's too much. It's just, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease is just at an all-time high.
It sounded like a macho man. A squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah.
Well, you know what it is that we've never been at a time that's where I heard a comedian say this, where it's like, you know, we have so much bullshit being documented, like so much unimportant stuff being documented, where when we actually had a time where it should have been documented, we didn't have enough resources or at least technology to document it. But I also believe that, you know, you see a higher level of opinions being mistaken for intelligence.
Yeah.
And we have so many people that are actually supporting that kind of process, where it's no longer like, hey, 2 + 2 is 4. Well, I don't feel that way. I feel like 2 + 2 is purple. Well, and you are entitled to your opinion,
and you should respect. Yeah, but they get on that soapbox, and they want my opinion, and they want to change my opinion, and they want me to accept 2 + 2 is purple. And when I don't have to. I respect that you believe that. That's fine. I don't have to. Oh no, you have to. You have to.
If you don't, then you're this. And that's the part that I don't like, because I'm like you. I'm very respectful. I'm accepting. And just because I respect what you believe in or whatever, or even accept accept it, like, okay, you know, I'm not going to fight your pushback, doesn't mean that I have to believe it, right? Or I have to accept it for myself. That doesn't make me a bad person. It doesn't make me anti something. It doesn't make me this, doesn't make me that. It just makes me someone who has a different opinion than you. And I'm not going to judge you based on your opinion, and you should not judge me based off of mine. So, like you said, it gets really ugly when someone says, you have to, you know, here's what I think. You have to accept it. And if you don't, then that makes you a bad person, or that makes you this. And everyone's so quick to label and call names. And it's very sad, because, you know, that's why I always said I love the cigar lounge. Cigar lounge is where you have so many different walks of life, so many backgrounds, race, religion, you know, political beliefs. Everybody goes in there and they sit down. You actually get to talk to someone and get to know them personally, and you get to hang out, enjoy a cigar, talk about cigars, but then really talk more about family and not get into all these others. Because it's almost like this unwritten rule that once you cross that threshold, that shit gets left at the door. And then you actually can get to know people, the person versus the belief. And the person is far more interesting and far more deep and far more intriguing than the belief. The belief is going to guide you down a path where it's going to tempt you to judge and then freaking act. Where if you get to know the person, you don't really have that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You know, like you said, when you cross that threshold, everything stays outside. We had one guy at a lounge that they eventually asked not to come back because he couldn't leave life at the threshold. And yeah, he didn't have like the greatest life. You know, he had a hard life, you know, hardworking man. But when you come into that lounge at the end of the day, I don't want to hear it, man. I'm sorry you're going through whatever it is you're going through. And yeah, occasionally when you have a rough spot, let's talk about it. Let's you know, we'll listen to you, but every day, day in, day out, like I don't want to go back. You text ahead of time. Hey, is so-and-so there? Oh no, he already left. Okay. I'm coming down. You know, I can't listen one more day about his life. And it sucks, you know, but we all get bad days, but Cigar Lounge, that's a sanctuary, Kerr.
And that's where if you're having a bad day, that's where you can go and just forget about your bad day. Not like you said, not drag it in with you. Or if you have your beliefs. I mean, really, if you're going to talk politics at a cigar shop, I'm going to walk away from you. And it's not, we get enough of it. I can't even look something up on Yahoo. I just want to go to a benign search engine. If you click on Yahoo, it's just a series of feeds of ridiculousness. And I'm like, you know, and I swipe through it just to laugh at the order of importance, you know, because it's always like, you know, Trump's evil. This celebrity had a baby. Oh, 5 people died, 6 people died, or 100 people died in an earthquake. I'm like, really? That's less important.
Like, that's it. You know, I love, you know, and I don't want to get into politics at all, but the one thing that I found funny yesterday, watching a video, and it was the 2 different sides from like the New York Post. Kamala Harris, you know, they want to, she's on board with the let's not tax tips.
Yeah.
Wait staff makes tips.
Yeah.
And then the headline was, you know, helping the working class not be taxed on their tips or whatever. And then they showed the same, because Trump was the first, you know, that came, you know, he originally said that. The same headline was Trump's new tax plan will cost the U.S. Taxpayer $250 million over the next 10 years. And it's just like, wow, you know, what a
it's how they spin it, man. It's the third you know, the third arm of government, and that's why I said I miss the news. I just, you know, I want to know. I'd really like to know what's going on in the world, not what's going on in your head. I really don't care. And it's like, fine, if you want to have your shows, whether it's Joe in the Morning Joe, you know, the Gutfeld show, we all know what we're going to get when we go on these shows. I mean, you can't show up and turn on the news on a certain show and expect that you're going to not hear what you're going to hear. You're stupid. I just want a station that's going to give me the news.
Yeah, and there isn't one anymore. It's not Fox, it's not ABC, CBS, NBC. You just can't. You know, I tried to go
garbage.
You know, try to go to my my Google News feed. That's not good anymore. It's all ads. You can't even go to what is the one in Europe, the news agency, you know, that used to be BBC. Used to be able to get good content on the BBC because they were non-biased. Now
PBS
BBC
used to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, it was honestly, I mean, even like you said, the Google, the Yahoo news feeds. And I remember years ago, my buddy told me, he's like, if you really want to know what's going on, see, you know, Twitter was always a good place to be able to go and get get news. There's no escape from just the ridiculousness out there. So I'm like, I'll watch my reruns of my shows. I'll play freaking Minecraft and smoke a cigar, and then I will search for any news to see what's going on in the world. But other than that, I'm not going to rely on any left or right side leaning news agency try and spin whatever they want to spin and think that they're going to influence me. And I think it's just it's a really, I mean, I think it's a really, in my opinion, I just think overall I'll let it go, but I think it's a dangerous place to be when you have these agencies that are claiming to be a news agency and they're reporting anything but the news. You know, they're just reporting their opinions. And like you said, when you look at a headline and it's the same story, but it's just spun differently, I don't care what side of the aisle you are on, if you don't look at that and it doesn't raise an eyebrow, then you're part of the problem. Then you are part of the problem. Because I'm pretty objective. I'm middle of the road.
Yeah, you're right. And like I said, when it comes to news, I get so tired because I'll see an interesting article, then I'll read it, and then it's just like, well, that doesn't look right, or you want to dive into it deeper, and the next thing, I mean, it's a couple of hours. You got to read both sides of it, and then at the end, you're like, I don't know what to believe now. I don't know.
I can't. Even the stories now, it's like, like you said, you'll read the headline, and I'll get a quarter of the way down, like my movies, 15 minutes in.
Yeah.
It's either better pick up or I'm like quarter way into the story. If I'm not getting any inkling that they're going to get to that story, it reminds me, and I know you like them, and I fucking hate these. They work on my nerves. Is those videos that drag shit out. Those work on my last nerve when they're like, okay, we're going to open up this box. It's the best. And it's like they do like 3 minutes of this shit. And then they open the box and it's nothing, or they get to the end and it's not. These articles read the same way.
Yeah.
It's the same way. And I can't do it. I can't.
And then the articles that are just, and it's all ads. You read an article from the New York Times or New York Post. I mean, it's insane the amount of ads that you're scrolling, and then you get all the way through these ads. You're like, where the hell's the rest of the article? Yeah, and then you got to scroll back up past the ads, and then that little tiny box, continue reading. Yeah, you're like, you sons of bitches.
Gets me every time. I can't do it. It drives me bananas. It's back when I was in school and when we studied political science, it was always the worst place to get your news is TV. The second worst is newspaper. The best place to get it, or the least tainted, was the radio. Different, news agencies, because they actually had news on the radio.
Yeah,
reported news. And then if you really wanted to get the best sources, you had to do your own research and look up and study history of the Supreme Courts. This president, that president. Now you can even Google something and get a proper response. Even the responses that you're getting are being spoon-fed to you on what they want you to read, not what you're looking for.
Yeah, and we want to know why Google's getting sued, antitrust. Even the government's tired of Google. I mean, just picking and choosing what they want to show you, and you want to find an article on something and it's gone. You can't find any history. I'm like, how did this get scrubbed so cleanly and so quickly?
Yep. Quickly, efficiently, and then it's like when you look it up, they'll give you something that's in and or around it, but it's something that they want you to read. And I'm just like, I can't. I don't do it anymore. I've cut myself off for years now. I don't watch the news. None of them.
No, none. I get bits and pieces from Instagram feed, TikTok on the news, YouTube shorts, and then a little bit of online reading, and it's just like at the end of the day, it's like I don't know what to believe.
If something intrigues me, like you said, I see a TikTok or a reel, something intrigues me, I'll look into it. And it's like, to see, did they take a clip of something to make it sound really bad? Like we could do it any one of our shows. You could take any clip of anybody and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe what Kevin just said. But then if you give the full context of it, it's like, nah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I just watched that 3-minute clip of Joe Rogan praising Kamala Harris and everything that she's done. And then I haven't looked into it, but I just saw yesterday in one of my news feeds that he's suing for like $20 million because they took out 10 minutes of him essentially bashing her, but then took out all the clips of him, that looked like he was praising her, and then putting that out there on social media. See, Joe Rogan likes Kamala Harris, and then people, but that's another news feed. You look at that, like, oh, I didn't know that. It's.
And AI is getting really good at being able to show like a clip of Joe Rogan or like someone starting to talk, and then they'll switch it to another scene, like to something else, and then AI will do a Joe Rogan voice behind it.
Oh yeah, the deep fakes, man. They are good. I've watched some, where people have posted this is a deep fake, and like I'm looking as close as I can. I'm like, that is unbelievable how good these deep fakes have gotten.
Especially with the voices, when they just show Joe Rogan talking and they get like, well, and I'll use him as an example just because we're talking about him, because I've seen it. He starts talking about something. It's usually like, I've seen a lot of advertisements will do this, like trying to sell you something.
Yes.
And he'll be like, I got to tell you about something really incredible, like on his show. And then they'll cut to the product. And then you hear his voiceover and it's not him talking about it, but it's pretty goddamn freaking good. It's amazing.
It is. It's great, But yeah, it's hopefully this we've got a couple more months of this election cycle and these deep fakes and in the news, and it's just it's getting brutal. Facebook cracking down on everything just because they're hyper aware, of the election. It's it's not, you got the other countries now. Did you see that the other night on right before Elon and Trump had their thing, like the European Union, like, hey, we just want to let you know, like this is, we're going to investigate what you're doing here.
And if we see there's anything fake.
Yeah, and then Elon Musk is like, hey, I didn't know that that you guys were, meddling in our election here. This is what we have going on, and it's just it's
we divorced you a long time ago, and one of the number one reasons why is free speech. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter what side you're on, but it's amazing. It makes me shake my head because we've lost a lot of tolerance and love in the world, and it's sad.
It is, a lot of, people just aren't nice anymore. I remember just maybe like 6 months ago, maybe a little bit longer. Had an older lady, probably, I don't know, probably in her 60s, could have been older, talking to her and starting to get like, really, well, I was listening. She was talking with the salesman, getting really rude and belligerent with her. And then I had to step in and I go, no, ma'am. And I go, I know that you're from a time when this conversation was not tolerated. And like, this gentleman's just trying to do his job. And, but it's just that TikTok mentality, I'm going to raise a fuss and get my way. And, I see it with the younger kid, but, I could see the younger kids doing it, but start seeing more and more of the older generation. And it's just like, I know, like I said, I know you were not raised like this. Where did this come from?
They're just angry about it. I think all the older generations get so angry over the lack of respect and tolerance and everything else. I don't know. You could probably go on for another show about that, but it's really sad to see it. And what's even sadder is to see a lot of it done under the guise of tolerance and love. And it's like, you're not hoodwinking me. I don't care whether you're red or blue or whatever, and as far as I'm concerned, give give Robert Kennedy Jr. a freaking voice, man. Give that guy a voice. Let him. You know, they that is just what that guy's going through, man.
And he's as crazy as the rest of them. He's got some outlandish.
Kennedy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's got some outlandish, politics and theories and everything else. But
fair's fair.
He speaks the what I consider on some things. He speaks the truth, and he deserves to have a voice. I think
exactly.
He just lost that yesterday, the right to be on the ballot of New York.
That to me, being someone who believes in like the whole system, you can run for president. Knowing that states are vying for and wanting to get someone removed from the ballot is, to me, unconstitutional. I don't care if you're a Democrat, if you're a Republican, if you're independent, if you're a Green Party, a Libertarian. If you're going to represent a people, if you're going to, and you have the right to do it, and you're going to represent a group, you should be on the ballot. I think that is horrible.
If you're a party nominee, you're on the ballot. I don't think I should be able to pay my couple $100 to run for president and be on every ballot. If I'm not a party.
No, I get
nominee,
that,
but he's a party nominee. He's gotten like 3% of the votes. He deserves to be on the ballot.
100%. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, when you go and you go to, and I even think in South Carolina it's the same way. Or there's a couple other states where, if there's a Green Party or Libertarian, I want to see them on the list.
Yeah,
I want to see them. Because that's my right to vote for whom I want to, and people are like, oh, you're gonna waste your vote. If it's what I believe in, if Kevin Shahan's on the ballot because he's a freaking nominee of the freaking, I'd tap that freaking, that's what I'm gonna vote for. I'm listening to what he's saying. I'm listening to what she's saying, and I believe in what they're saying, and that's where I decide to cast my right to vote. And when you have states taking away your right, that's terrible.
Yeah, that's it. You're going to you're taking away votes from one of the other parties. Well, we should have more than two.
Exactly. I am, because that's my right to vote for whom I want. And if it takes a vote away, how do you know I'd vote for that person?
That's it. Now, one thing I wish we would do, like that the European Union does, like you get like, what is it, 8 weeks to campaign. That's all you get, not a year. You can't campaign every day, 24 hours a day for a year. You got to wait 8 weeks for the election, 12 weeks, whatever it is. That's all you get. I don't want to hear this shit all year long.
I agree. And I also think it ends up being a contest of who's throwing around more money. And what's really funny is you'll have, by this time, billions, hundreds of millions, if not $1 billion, probably collectively, right? And all that money is being raised to hear a couple of people talk about how they're going to improve the lives of Americans, and they're going to help the veterans, they're going to help the homeless. I'm like, well, some of that money probably spread that around a little bit. It may help out, but I think that's really where you get into the real reason why people donate so much money, and there's another objective there. So it always cracks me up to see that, and also to see people who will throw away a relationship, a friendship, whatever the case is, over someone they've never met before, someone who would probably not even think twice and remember meeting you if they did. I think that is really where I think the tolerance and love is lost. It's like, if you told me you were voting for X and I'm voting for Y, hey, sounds good, man. Let's go have a beer. Let's go freaking enjoy a cigar. But when you have people who are like, I'm not coming to Christmas because I'm not coming to Thanksgiving because I don't want to hear, there's always a couple family members like that just can't keep their mouth shut. But after a while, you're just like, listen, just fucking eat your turkey. Let's talk about football, or let's talk about freaking soccer. Let's talk about freaking water sports. I don't care. Talk about freaking the great outdoors. Just eat your turkey. Shut the fuck up.
That's it. And if you're a celebrity or a sports athlete, I don't care what your opinion is. I don't care. Shut up. Keep it to yourself. Play the game. Play the game and entertain me. Entertain me like the puppet that you are. Go out there and play your sport or make a movie and make me laugh. That's all I want to hear about from your mouth.
I just don't want to see it in your in if you want to go and do whatever you want to do, that's great. Good for you. That's your right. But like years ago, I had the opportunity, and I grew up, in my college, my 20s was during the big age of grunge, right? And that I was a big Pearl Jam fan. Love Pearl Jam. Still to this day, great fucking music. Love them. And I had an opportunity to go see them in concert. I was like, no. I'm like, I'm not paying the money that I'm going to pay to go see them to hear Eddie Vedder ramble on about politics. If I do go and you pay for my ticket, I'm going to wear a shirt that says, shut up and play music. I don't want to hear your politics. I didn't pay money for that. I paid money to hear music. If you want to voice your opinion, start a blog, open your freaking website, go on freaking shows, then it's fine. But if you're going to charge people money to listen to you perform, John Cougar Mellencamp just freaking did that the other. He walked off stage because he's sitting there rambling about something. Someone said, "Hey, shut up and play music." And he got all fucking sassy and pissy about it. I'm cutting this. It makes everybody, because they got to redirect because they got called out. I'm going to cut this set short, like about 10 songs now because of you. Oh, really? Why? Because someone paid good money. Third row. Probably a nice price tag for good old John Cougar Mellencamp. And they just said, I'm sick of hearing your voice. I'm sick of hearing, just play fucking Jack and Diane. I want to hear about eating chili dogs. I don't want to hear who I should vote for.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. When's the last time? Do you know who Taylor Swift is voting for? Neither do I, because she doesn't tell us, because she knows we don't care. And there's so many other celebrities and performers that know that we just don't care. We don't care. Shut up and play your songs.
100%.
It's all I want to hear. I don't want to hear these media people. We've seen it. We've seen a few in the cigar industry lay it out on the line, and it's just like, it is what it is. You're right. I understand. It's your right. But there's also a reason I don't post that shit. I don't put my opinion up there because I need people to buy my things. There's
the reason why the Dixie Chicks aren't the Dixie Chicks anymore.
You're damn right about that.
It's, you have a right to open your mouth. You have a right to share your opinion. God bless you. God love you. However, when you are a celebrity or you are someone who relies on the masses to fund your career, you're going to alienate a lot of those folks. So be 50%. Prepared that there's
50%.
Blowback.
Yeah, going to go away. Yeah,
there's going to be blowback, and that's just that's just the way it is. It's you have a right to your opinion and free speech, but free speech ain't free. I just can't go voicing my opinion on stuff, and I never would, because I don't. I've always, what's funny is, especially workplace, right? I kind of grew up. My dad was always like, work was work, home was home.
Yeah.
That's it. I have my friends at work. We get along well. And then, it's like no political, it's like work is work, home is home. And I think there's been a big, just in general in society, I think that line's been blurred a lot. And you start seeing some folks being treated differently because of their political beliefs or because of their religious beliefs or whatever the case may be. And that's sad. It's just sad that it comes to that, because it really shouldn't matter when it comes to, do you do a good job? Do you work hard? Then great. That's all that matters. Are you here on time? Are you reliable? Are you this? Are you that? That's great. I don't give a shit if you vote for Charles Manson.
That's it. Shut up and pull that next car in and do that flat repair.
Right.
I don't care about your opinion.
Yep. Or if you don't share it, it's like that also, it's like it kind of raises the red flags. And you're like, I'm a personal person. I've never been one to share my feelings about certain things. If I'm asked, I'll give my opinion. But even like tonight, we're talking about this. We're talking about things that are very middle of the road. It's not leaning in one direction. It's just talking about the objective observations by us and our feelings on things. And it's calling out areas that I feel, and maybe you feel, that is just not fair, or we should be a little bit more tolerant or understanding. And it's that simple. It's not slided or slanted in one way or the other. Because I care less.
That's it. And thankfully, I work for a company that could care less. I mean, they care. I mean, we're owned by a Japanese company, and thankfully, God, they don't tolerate this stuff. It just any of this, and it's work.
Productivity.
Everything is based on productivity. Japanese culture, productivity. Are you performing well? That's it. That's all we need to know. We don't care, but we don't care about anything else. We don't have this new training coming out next week or today that you got to do, just for the sake of making somebody happy. Just like, just do your job.
Yeah, I think it's good to be, especially when companies are socially involved. I think that's important because you do need that. But I also believe that there is a way that could be weighed out where it's not always so prominent. I don't know. I always feel like sometimes people and companies can overstep their boundaries in that area. But again, that's my opinion. But again, like with some companies, if they're privately owned or whatever, it's not my sandbox. I'm just playing in it. So I'll keep playing it with my head down. Y'all can do whatever you want. I'm fine. And I'm a company. I'll support the company. But, a lot of folks aren't like that.
Yeah, they're not. It's I think that's a good place to leave us for tonight for the first episode of the Puff and Ponder podcast. Anybody listening to this in the future on the various podcasting platforms, watching this tonight, watching this on a replay, in the show notes down below, video description, podcast description, you can find Kerr and I on all the social medias. Give us a follow, and we're putting out these on we're still trying to feel our way, find out where this whole thing is going. So they're not going to be weekly things, but maybe bi-weekly, maybe once a month. We'll figuring it out. I had fun, Kerr. This is it's like the old days. This is like the old days of just having a conversation, having a conversation.
Conversation.
A conversation.
That's great.
But yeah, where conversations ignite. That was I think the show proved that we can stoke those flames, and hopefully maybe
go in any direction as long as it's fun and respectful, right?
That's it. We never I never want to lean one way or the other. I never want this to be a platform to tell anybody what to think, and it's just hopefully we can give everybody a good conversation, give all of our listeners a platform to voice their opinions, ask us questions, which we'll answer. And but just kind of want to keep it middle of the road, and
we'll blast whomever. That's just the way it is, right? I was taught a long time ago. I'll leave us with this. I was taught a long time ago, and this is what kind of cracks me up, is that if you vote for someone, you should be their biggest critic.
Yeah.
You shouldn't, there's a lot of folks that won't. It's like, someone could, if I voted for Trump, or you voted for Biden, you voted for this person, you voted for Bush, or you voted for, Obama. It's like they could be caught stealing or whatever. And it was like, oh, well, I don't know. I don't believe that. it's like because people can't criticize the person they voted for because they take it so personal. They think that they made a mistake. Where I was told a long time ago, that person said enough and did enough to earn your right to vote for them. So if you vote for them, you should be their biggest critic. You should be the person out there looking for the good, but really slamming the negative or the bad. And if you're not doing that, then why are you voting for that person?
Yep.
And that's either, it doesn't matter who you vote for. That's my advice. If you're going to vote for someone, you should be their harshest critic if they get elected into office, because they earned your vote. It's your right. Your vote was earned. You should be the one looking at everything that they do and either say, man, that's a really great job, or you know what, dude, no, not so much. It's okay to do that.
That is. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Kerr, we need we're gonna have to come up with an ending tagline, and ending music. We'll work on something else. So,
where conversations ignite.
Yes. So, all right, everybody. We'll see you next.